Welcome to the GCN Tech Show. This week I'm joined by two special guests, industry experts you could say, to find out if the bike industry is still doomed and we're all absolutely screwed, or if things are perhaps not as bad as you first thought. What else have we got coming up, guys?
Well, we've got some fancy carbon spoke wheels.
Yeah.
New Orbea Orca. And some hot, spicy tech, of course.
George, what else we got?
I can't forget comments of the week, Bike Vault, which is your favourite, of course.
Oh, yeah. Let's do it. Right, this week, before we dive straight into our main talking point, I should probably introduce the two people to my right. Justin, owner of Pronto Bikes, along with his wife Kate, which is a bike shop local to me, also combined in with a Castelli cafe.
Which is one of your favourites, isn't it?
It is, I do frequent that quite often, and you're slowly taking all my money away from me.
Yeah, that red velvet cake.
Fantastic.
It's a good one. Yeah.
George is the marketing manager at Saddleback, which is a large UK distributor for brands such as
Castelli, Stages, Envy, Silka, Troy Designs, to name only a few. Plethora of best brands in the industry.
The list goes on and on. Fantastic. I like that you got the best brands in the industry in there. So guys, you are here to help me discuss if the bike industry is still in crisis. Ollie and Manon did a show about it at the start of this year. We've heard stories such as bike shops going out of business, other distributors going out of business, warehouses full up with stock that people can't sell. But there have also been reports in some articles of the chance and glimmer of hope for everyone that prices are going to fall. So I thought we're just going to discuss it between us. Have you got anywhere that we want to start?
I'll start with Justin.
Yeah.
Come on, Justin. So from like a bike shop's perspective, do you think the industry is in crisis? Are you still selling bikes? Is it sort of lower value items, higher value items? What are you seeing?
Well, the biggest trend for us actually is bikes above £3,000, really. We're selling considerable numbers still, and it continues to grow month on month from last year. Where we're really struggling is the sort of mid to low end bikes. We never go low end anywhere with our shop, but with bikes below £1,000, around £1,000, they're struggling because that market's been.
So is that the sort of stuff? Maybe some £1,000 bikes that you think, oh, we've had these for a little while. They're just not sort of going.
Yeah, for sure. They're welded to the floor, really.
Welded to the floor.
It's not a good state, but they kind of supplement that with nice high end stuff. So that's great. So we just.
I guess so. Lower end kind of bikes and products. I suppose we're seeing from people perhaps using cycling as like commuting or like a entry point into the sport. Whereas high-end bikes, you've got your hardcore enthusiasts. Yeah,
sure. And there's quite a few people that, in the short time that we've been open, just 2.5 years, we've seen those people come back for their second bike within that time. So, whereas I think there's a lot of people that commute on those sort of entry-level bikes that probably still ride around on them, and they're quite happy to just maintain them.
They're not tired,
looking to buy a new bike necessarily, I think.
All right. George, distribution perspective, what are we thinking?
So to go back to your original question, I don't think the cycle industry is having a crisis.
Oh, we can all go home
which
now.
is good, exactly. Yeah, happy days.
No stress.
No, I think because we're all cyclists, like we look very insular into what's going on, but you only have to look at the macroeconomic issues and what's just going on in the world and it has done the last few years to see that it's not a particularly great place at the moment for a lot of businesses.
It's tough in general, isn't it?
It is tough in general, absolutely. So, and it's global as well. It's not, again, just the UK.
Yeah.
Speaking to partners globally, it's affecting different industries and different markets around the world. So, it's not the bike industry. It's not just the UK, which is a good thing. What we are seeing, though, is that strong brands that have a distinct position within the market, whether that's, tech or price point or just brand heritage, there's still a lot of demand for those.
Yeah, people are still willing to splash their cash on that kind of stuff.
Exactly, and going back to sort of the brands that we have, they're high in demand still. That's okay. Where there's a bit of a struggle are brands which probably don't have that heritage or a distinct position.
So I guess that falls to maybe like the lower end of the market. Newer stuff that is slightly lower price point. And maybe people aren't looking to buy quite as regularly.
Exactly. So similar to what Justin's saying, what we have seen a slight slowdown in that more considered purchase. So where, probably the likes of us.
Yeah.
Where
hardcore enthusiasts like us.
Well, exactly. But it's the case of if you're saving up for a holiday, it's like, do I spend £200 on that jacket? It's like, do I, on the whole, that's a lot tougher choice for people than it was only a few years ago. And maybe they're waiting for it to be reduced before purchasing now, and that's like the catalyst for them to purchase it. On the other end of the spectrum, which Justin said, actually the super high-end stuff, those people seem to have money and always will, and that stuff's selling absolutely fine.
How do people just have money? I've always wondered this. Yeah. But I think what you just said is an interesting point about maybe people being a bit more reserved over some of their purchases. And I think it falls sometimes to the category of looking at buying what you think you maybe need rather than what you actually want. And I guess, do you probably see that with people buying bikes a lot of the time?
Yeah, I think people are open to advice as well. And if you just say, look, you might want that, but you might steer them in the direction, actually, don't buy Duration, buy Ultegra, because actually you're going to trash that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just...
Yeah, like a winter's worth of use, like in the UK at least, when it's hard conditions, you're like, well, you're going to end up replacing a lot of that in like 6-7 months' time.
And actually use that budget wisely, use it against, a nicer tyre.
Yeah.
It makes more sense.
That's a really good point. So at the start of the show, I mentioned that we've heard rumours of warehouses full of stock that people can't seem to sell. So I guess it'd be interesting to just get almost like an explainer from both of you, from the sort of like customer facing point of the chain to up halfway through the supply issue. How is this working? Like, Justin, are you guys buying stock to keep in the shop and then just hoping that you sell it? How do you try and plan it out? And the same, like George, at distribution level, how does that work with supplying bike shops?
Yeah,
who wants to go first, basically?
From the bottom to the top, I guess.
That's the way it will go. So, George, how is it working as a distributor? Correct me wrong, you're buying products from a manufacturer and then distributing that, including the name, to bike shops to then get to the point of sale to the customer. I think I've done a very slimmed down version.
Yeah.
But so elaborate on how that works. Why does a distributor exist? Like, why would it not just go from the bike shop to the manufacturer?
Yeah. So, again, from our point of view, I can't speak for all different distributors and brands, but so we're around because we take away the headache of having to look after and distribute the products within the UK market. We know it really well, and also the UK market is fairly unique compared to a lot of other global markets, and we have that speciality to be able to maximise the potential for our brands, whether that's marketing, sales, making distribution as efficient as possible, and actually representing the brand. And the UK market is the largest market for a lot of our brands. Yeah. We've got a lot of online retailers who sell globally. So what we do in the UK market actually does resonate globally for our brands as well.
So you're not, because I think the way some people I think maybe look at it is a distributor is really just like a middleman. They take a bit of money from everybody and sell the product on. But really what you're saying from your perspective, certainly at Saddleback, is that you're actually serving as a real key point for the manufacturers, as providing a service for them as well as just distributing the stuff out.
Correct, yeah. We provide feedback for product development.
Yeah.
So, because again, what is in the UK market and our tastes and fashion or just our requirements on our bikes is different compared to somewhere in the middle of Europe or America, for instance.
That's really interesting, because I don't think a lot of people will know that that's necessarily how it works. I know, as you're saying, that's not how the whole industry works. And it's perhaps why we've seen some distributors seemingly vanish off the face of the earth in tough times at the moment.
Yeah, quite possibly.
Yeah. So, Justin, from your perspective, how is a distributor helping a shop out?
Well, I think as George has explained, we work quite heavily with Saddleback because previous connections, etc. And he's a good guy as well.
Yeah.
Bless you. You're not so bad yourself.
We'd like to work with companies that are going to give us something back. We're not going to work with just everyone. Box moving companies aren't really what we're into, because we want a brand to be able to push not just us marketing it from our little bike shop in Broome. We can't do global presenting of brands and make them desirable.
That's true as well as accessing, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. And they can draw in many assets from the world and bring them to us and say, right, this is what we can help with you with, as opposed to just sending us a box of stuff.
Yeah, okay.
So they can help us with the marketing of something, which is great and draws people into our shop, which is brilliant. Another thing is, we can't just deal with every single brand, because if I had an account with every single brand, so if Saddleback, we buy 10 brands from them, we had accounts with all of those 10 brands, it just be a headache for us because we'd have to take 10 suppliers as opposed to one.
Yeah.
So we can sell one supplier, or we have, we probably still deal with 50 suppliers as it is, let alone having to deal with 5,000.
Well, if you divide that up again from each different place,
it'd be ridiculous.
Well, and not only that, I think you would perhaps then start to see prices have to increase even more because you're like, well, we've got to now employ like an extra 3 people.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, on our side of it, we'd have to have another accounts team, I think.
Well, totally. I think it would be crazy. And I think off the cuff of it, I think people are sometimes quick to have a negative spin on lots of things. Go, each place is just making tons of money. But at the end of the day, if places don't make money, they're not going to exist. And therefore, you're not going to be able to buy bikes. You're not going to be able to buy products. And then we end up in this, almost like the problem that we have now of bike shops starting to close, some distributors struggling. But if you get it right and you work with good quality products and local bike shop, which is sort of like serving the community, I guess that's where success comes, really.
Yeah, absolutely. And also from our point of view, and just to give plenty of praise to our accounts team, logistics, warehouse and merchandise team, since Brexit and lots of other duties and tariffs that maybe a lot of your viewers don't appreciate.
Don't realise exist sometimes.
Don't realise exist.
There's lots that I don't realise.
No, there's the retaliatory tariffs that were going on when Trump was in office between the European Union and America because of the Boeing Airbus argument. And then you've got anti-dumping duties we've got to deal with bikes, which increases them significantly as well. So it's all these things that we have to deal with, as well as other tariffs and duties that a brand doesn't want to deal with if they came direct to the UK. We have to have departments to sort that out. So it's a bit, sort of answering 2 questions, I guess. There's lots of hidden costs that affect the price of goods, but also there's lots of things that we do that add even more value to our brands because they just don't want to have to deal with the headache themselves. Yeah,
like I said, you're basically providing a service to brands. Exactly. But there are brands out there that we were speaking about earlier before we started filming the show, actually, where you can just go. They do go direct to market. I mean, Canyon's one example. There's lots of different brands out there. But Justin, like you were saying, sure, buying direct from a company, buying it online can work fantastic in some situations. But at some point, you're going to need to have like a face-to-face contact, aren't you? Your bike's going to break or you're not going to know how to fix it. And bike shops need to exist for that purpose.
For sure. We're there to fix your bike. We're there to take you out for a ride. We're there to show you the world. We're not just there as a...
That's why we do it, isn't it?
Anything. We've got great coffee and some Castelli clothing as well. So, we're just there to showcase things as well as... Obviously, we're helping you. We're not just there to loot your pockets of cash. We're there to actually provide a service.
I mean, look, he's a nice guy. So I think, really, from the basis of what we've discussed, the bottom line of this thing is the bike industry in crisis? I'm gonna answer first, and then you guys can go. I don't think the bike industry is in crisis. I think some sectors are struggling a lot more than others. The more budget-friendly end of things, I think, is quite difficult. But the high-end stuff, from speaking to you guys, I think is doing all right. Perhaps because you've got a different type of customer and you are working with perhaps slightly bigger margins, maybe. So, what do you think, George? Is the bike industry in crisis?
No,
definitely not.
Anything to elaborate on that? You're just gonna?
Yeah, I think if you had somebody in here from a different side of the industry, from a budget end, I think you'd have a different conversation.
So you think lower end, the answer might be yes.
And just a different brand. Yeah, I think depending on what brand or what distro, or as you say, sector of the market, then you would probably get a different answer. All
right, that's really interesting. Guys, thanks very much. Let us know in the comments section down below whether you agree with the 3 of us or you do think the bike industry is doomed and, we're all going to cease to exist. Right.
Up next. Hot and spicy tech.
Justin, what have we got coming up first?
We've got some crazy carbon spokes.
You can put more oomph in than that. Come on. More. We got these crazy carbon spokes.
Crazy.
Justin, what have we got first?
We've got these crazy carbon spokes.
Love it. So much energy. Now, some of you might have seen the video that was out the other week where Ollie and Blake took the Windspace wheels, the Megas, which use these carbon spokes, tried to destroy them. Basically, Blake rode down loads of off-road descents, absolutely smashing it. And towards the end, they even took the tyre off the back wheel and went down a black run.
Pretty impressive.
Which is, I'm going to not say it's impressive, I'm going to say it's insane.
Stupid, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. Anyhow, there was quite a few comments underneath the video of people, rightly so, going, well, how do you replace one of the spokes if you break them? Yeah. Well, that right there in your hands is the answer. It's called a halo of spokes.
Let the viewers see it. Go on,
yeah,
Justin.
pass it. That's
pretty neat, isn't it?
Show this up for everybody.
Hogging it.
Yeah. So all the spokes are carbon fibre bonded onto this central piece, and then the spokes are also bonded together as well to increase stiffness even further. So this whole piece is what you replace if you're unfortunate enough to break a spoke. Now, the advantages of using a system such as this Windspace is saying is that it means you can true the wheel, and it also adds some additional stiffness in compared to, say, do you remember the old school lightweight wheels where this whole system was like bonded together, and if anything went wrong, you were kind of like in a real sticky situation? Mm-hmm. Well, imagine that concept, but it's almost like user serviceable. Yeah, which is kind of cool. So judging by the video, I'm going to say I don't think spoke replacement is going to be common because they did survive, which I think is kind of impressive.
I don't know, have you seen the potholes in the UK?
Yeah. Windspace is saying the construction of this halo spoke is said to make the Windspace Megas stiffer than the Hypers, which is the next wheel set down, and also 50 grams lighter, which I think is pretty cool. Do you want to know the price of the wheels?
Go on.
I'm gonna say the price because Ollie actually got it wrong in the video. $2,600. There you go. Okay. I think that's all right. If you want to know other currencies, we'll try and put them up on screen. Mega. Come on.
How much is that though?
I don't actually have the information on how much this is.
So you know.
Yeah, but you've seen the video. It's not going to break straight away.
But I'm sure people are going to comment, want to know how much it costs.
Well, head over to the Windspace website and you can find all that information out, I guess. Good question, though. I like it. Next up, we have the bike, which Justin said is new, which is the Orbea Orca. Take a look at this picture. It looks incredible. We'll talk more about it in a second. So this is the new Orca, which is Orbea's lightweight bike. It's the 7th generation, in fact, of this version. Now, before I mention any of the details about all this, Sai has made an in-depth video explaining everything that you could possibly want to know all about the bike. So I'll keep it sort of fairly brief here. And if you want to know everything, head over and check that video out. But the important thing is we have a competition running, right, where you can be in with a chance of winning one of the brand new bikes for yourself.
Ooh.
All you've got to do... Oh, I like that. Do you do all your own sound effects?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. All you've got to do is click on the link, which is in the description of not only this video, but also the first look video, enter the competition, and of course read all the terms and conditions, which people sometimes don't do, but you should always do that, shouldn't you? Yeah, now, Orbea is saying this is a bike which is focused on lightweight, offering the best climbing performance possible. And they've done their homework here in terms of trying to give some really useful real-world information to people in terms of when a lightweight bike would be more suited than, say, perhaps an aero bike. Now, in Orbea's examples, they've applied at lots of different speeds, and they claim that the Orca, so the lightweight bike, is around 3 watts faster than an aero bike for your average rider on a 5% slope. And then if you increase that slope gradient to 10%, they're saying it's 6 watts faster. And they also say that if you're adding things like partial aero features onto the frame, and then, of course, a little bit of weight as well, that is going to compromise those advantages and therefore lose you that special feeling of the super lightweight bike. Which is quite interesting, I thought. Seeing as Ollie and I literally always tell everybody aero, 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 even when uphill, it's interesting to see that perhaps there's a bit of a change of the tide.
It's news to me.
Yeah, isn't it? It's news to me as well, but it's interesting to see. Now, there's 2 frame set options. You've got the top spec OMX and the slightly second tier down, the OMR, different grades of carbon fibre. A couple of standard colours for the OMX, 3 standard colours for the OMR, as well as Orbea's Myo Custom, where you can go online, get all the funky colours like Connor did. Did you ever see Connor's Myo bike, where he basically had every single colour that you could get?
No.
Yeah, I think I did, yeah.
Well, you'd remember it if you saw it. It was quite a mashup.
It burned the eyes.
Yeah, it was quite a score on the eyes. So, you have got a Myo customization option. In terms of sizes, guys, this is where it's your time to shine. What sizes do they range from?
A 47 to a 60.
Fantastic. Good. George, prices, where do they start at and where do they go up to?
So from 3,599 to 11,999.
Fantastic. What sort of currency is that?
That is sterling.
Fantastic. We'll have other currencies up on screen. You guys can come back. You're good at this.
Oh, thanks.
We're getting there.
Right, more hot tech next, but this time a lot of it is coming from the Tour de France, which I've spotted from watching the live coverage on GCN Plus. You guys been watching on GCN Plus as well?
Where else would you watch it?
Fantastic. Yeah?
Of course, yeah.
Oh, I'll give you that
Every
money.
day.
I'll give you that money later on, guys. Top job. Now, the first thing I want to mention was actually on stage 15 when we saw Brian Cockard's bars break when he was going down the descent. Now, no real hard information about this other than he was caught up in that massive crash early on in the stage, so perhaps bars compromised slightly there. But one thing it does highlight is that any time you're in a crash, it's always worth getting your bike checked over by your local bike shop, nonetheless.
Recommend it.
Yeah, okay. Also, other hot tech that we've spotted was, I think it was on one of the rest days, we saw some of the Specialized sponsored teams riding what appears to be a new bike. I don't know if either of you have seen any of these leaked pictures online.
Yeah, it looks like an SL7, but with a slightly more bulbous head tube, isn't it?
It's got the bulbous bit on the front.
Yeah.
Is that the technical term for it? I don't know.
A lump.
Yeah.
A lump?
Lump on the front.
So we
Aero.
don't have any actual official details on this. It does appear to be a new bike from Specialized. Whether it's perhaps a new tarmac, we have literally no idea. But nonetheless, no doubt we might see some more of it near the World Champs or something.
It makes sense with the product life cycle of their bikes. What's it been, 3 years since the SL7
3-4
came out?
years. I'd say it was pre-COVID, wasn't it?
So
Was it?
So we're due to see something new soon.
Maybe new Venge.
Well, who knows?
Bring
The
back the
Venge
Venge.
returning. Return of the Venge.
Return of the
Sounds like a
Venge.
Star Wars film. Maybe it is. Yeah. Anyway, next up, I want to talk about hot tech is the integration of the core body temperature sensor, which is a little sensor, clips onto your heart rate monitor and then can record your body temperature. But what is new here is that it now has Wahoo integration, which means you can view not only live body temperature data on your head unit, it also records the data and combines it in with the fit file. So when you upload it onto, say, Strava or whatever, you can also see a trace of your body temperature, which I think is kind of cool. It's taking tech to the next level, which is, like we mentioned at the start of the show, maybe something you don't necessarily need, but something that you want. But if you are training for certain events, certainly in the heat, I think it's something that you could add. And as we've seen at the Tour de France so far this year, it's been roasting hot. There's been a heat wave in Europe. Not so much in the UK though, has there?
Not this month.
Pants weather. Yeah. But what we are seeing riders doing, you two should have seen if you're watching all the live races on GCN Plus, riders pouring water over themselves.
Yep.
Help cooling down. But also, I spotted Tadej Pogacar starting some of the stages with a much larger water bottle on his bike. So typically we see riders using 500ml bottles. So that's been like the thing forevermore, hasn't it? But it's interesting to see UAE starting to put more of a focus on perhaps hydration and cooling the body rather than saving a little bit of weight off the water bottles on the aero.
Thirsty boy.
Thirsty. And also, if you look down under the desk, a little present for both of you as well.
Oh, look at this.
French racing bottles.
It is. It's the official Big French Bike Ride bottle, which I think is pretty cool.
It's a fetching yellow, isn't it?
It's
Lovely.
available at shop.globalcyclingnetwork.com. We've still got some left, and I thought I'd give these to you as a little present.
Do you do bigger versions like Pogacar?
Not in the Big French Bike Ride colour. Yeah.
Not for me then. Okay.
Sorry about that. Final bit of hot tech that I want to discuss from the Tour de France is we've started to see riders doing tactical bike changes mid-stage. Now, Van der Poel has been doing this, switching from the aero bike to the lightweight bike partway through the stage, presumably because it's been flat for the first bit and then into the mountains. But also Pello Bilbao did it, switching from the Merida, is it from the Reacto to the Sculptura, that way around?
That's right, yeah.
Which is quite interesting. What's your sort of take on this? Good or bad thing?
Well, it's not done either of them very good, really, I suppose. They haven't got any results.
Pello Bilbao won a stage.
It's fair. Yeah, come on.
Maybe he did, yeah.
Didn't watch that one.
Did he change
Yeah.
the bikes on that stage, though?
He's like,
On that exact stage, I can't remember.
No.
I'm not sure. Someone will let us know in the comments if they did, though.
The effort, once you've changed the bike to chase back on, it's quite a lot.
that was it, because Roglic did that in the Big Italian road race.
Oh, the Big Italian bike ride.
Exactly,
Yeah.
early in the year. He switched from a 2x to a 1x, I think.
Yeah, that's interesting. I'm not sold on this idea of switching bikes mid-race because having raced before and had, say, a puncture, and you know how hard the chase is to get back on, I think the small advantage from being on like an aero to a lightweight bike, I think it's going to be negated from the chase back on.
Yeah, maybe it's easier for them than us.
Maybe it is. I mean, they are considerably better than the three of us put together.
Or maybe those bike brands should just create that, one bike to do everything.
Yeah.
An aero climbing bike.
An aero lightweight climbing bike.
I wouldn't catch on with it.
No, rubbish idea.
No, okay.
Right, more hot tech next week. Cheers, guys. It's now time for comments of the week. This is where we pick out the comments you guys have been leaving underneath our videos and read out some of our favourite. Sometimes we also play the man on rap at the start of this. Play the man on rap.
Some people say the presenters are hilarious. Others appreciate the cycling tips they share with us. The fans are diverse from all around the world, and the GCN team loves to give them a shout out.
Right, first comment. Shall I go first? Yeah?
Might as well. Yeah,
all right,
absolutely.
Thanks. It's from Reynold Aklichtner 2069. I'm really sorry about our username. They say, awesome show and info about entry-level bikes. I don't think there's going to be 4 super nice bikes in a row ever again for a while. Well, fair enough. All right. George, what comment have you picked out from last week's show?
Yeah, so I've chosen Stephen Edwards 1520. So the comment is, massive respect for Manon sitting on while that rap is playing. Luckily, Moss ringing the bell was even more pathetic and saved the day.
Moss, I presume the person means me because we're still going with the joke.
I think so, yeah. I mean, that was the most left field comment I could find. The rest were too sensible.
Okay,
so.
Justin?
Fair enough. I've got David O'Brinelli.
Yeah.
Absolutely agree. Going second hand, bought a second hand CAD 10, 105 group set.
Oh, yeah.
$430.
$430. That is actually pretty good.
And I honestly say, happy with it. He's gone on to ride his first metric century on it.
Wow, fair play. Underneath the Greg LeMond versus Laurent Fignon video that was out the weekend, where I wore a blonde wig and glasses to try and
Good look.
recreate
It was a strong look.
The icon of Laurent Fignon.
Yeah.
It was a strong look, you're right. Anyway, Jane Flakes says, bad taste jokes about murderers and quotes from the mighty Boosh. GCN Tech seems like it was made for me. Great video, guys. Now let's just see Ollie do a true crime podcast. He'd be great at disposing of bodies while Alex giggles in the background. Yeah? You weren't expecting that, were you, then?
I wasn't.
No. What's your comment?
Well, I'm just sort of reflecting on the mighty Boosh past. I feel like I need to go watch it again.
Well, as I rode off, I went, I'm all Greg.
Yeah, amazing. So mine is De Shoe.
Yeah.
So it's one of the most popular or most liked comments. So fun fact, in Poland, tri-bars is officially called Lemondka.
Really?
The best way to honour Greg. Can't verify that. It could be completely making it up, but
It's interesting.
It's interesting, yeah, why not?
Yeah.
Justin?
I don't know, this is a really weird one to pronounce. Sliderwug.
Oh, you've done a better job than I would have done.
Oh, yes, that's the way it is. I'm sorry if it's wrong. When I was 20, I watched this race. Helmets weren't even cool then, back in the day. Maybe you could do the Badger, My Aero, 1980s.
Oh, the Badger.
Cycling, yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, we could do more of those retro, iconic race moment videos. But do you know what? Not many people have watched that video yet. So if you haven't seen me in a blonde wig with glasses riding around a retro bike, recreating some iconic moments from races in the past, please go watch it. And if enough people watch it, we'll make more of the videos. Yeah. But at the moment, not many people have enjoyed the blonde wig from me.
I only saw it this morning, to be fair.
All right, fair enough.
Disappointing. Maybe you should do a tech show in wigs.
No. And then underneath the video Ollie and I did, where we listed out the tech in the bike industry that we wish would die, basically, or no longer exist. There was loads of people in the comments here really arguing against us, actually, because one of the things that I picked out and said technology that I wish would die or didn't exist was the rear-facing radar sensors on bikes. And there's a few different brands that make them. But in my mind, I just don't know at what point I would like to know that there's a car behind me, because if there is, I can't change anything about it. Like, if it's going to crash into me, it's going to crash into me.
Yeah, I think they're really good in group rides. I mean, it was a bit disconcerting the first time that I rode with someone with it, because it's in a chain gang and the guy in front of me was looking straight on.
Yeah.
And he was like, car back. I was like,
What?
How does he know that? I didn't realise he had one of these radars. I thought it was just telepathic or something. It was really odd. But it is good just to make everyone else sort of stay in line.
Maybe I need to take back what I said then. Maybe they are an okay thing. I need to give them a break.
Yeah. I think when you get older, I suppose you've got less movement in your neck to be able to
especially
sense.
your
Your hearing's going, your eyesight's going.
Young people like George and I should be alright for a few more years.
Yeah, you got 10.
Go on, have you got a comment from the Tech Must Die video?
So from Turdy.
Yeah.
Says, based on all this so far, I would suggest also saddle. They only cause trouble and we don't actually need to sit. Pedals. Who needs pedals when the electric motor works on its own? Big wheels. Why having big wheels when you can have small wheels?
What is this person on? I just don't understand that. I think
Do
they basically want a motorbike?
He's on the wrong channel.
Yeah. Justin, right, your last comment, what we got?
Yeah, Steve Mahoney, 1733. Tubular tyres, far less punctures than clinchers, as we know. And when you get one, it's typically you can just top it up, get home.
Yeah.
Bit of reinflation, bit of pit stop. Got to admit though, it's being phased out by the industry.
Steve, all right, fair enough.
That's
Steve,
controversial.
Fair enough, Steve Mahoney's 1733. We'll leave it on that for comments of the week. Right, it's now time for the Bike Vault, which is my favourite part of the show. We're going to do quick fire Bike Vault. Let's not linger on it. The Bike Vault bell is on your side. You can fight between it. There you go. You get it warmed up. Test run. Perfect. The Bike Vault, if you're not familiar with it, you upload pictures of your bikes onto the GCN app. People at home can play along and vote them either nice or super nice. We, on the show, have the casting and deciding vote as to whether a bike is super nice or just nice. Don't be too harsh. Nothing is bad here. It's just nice or super nice. First thing I'm going to show you guys, we'll share laptops. George's laptops gave up. This bike is the most super nice bike from last week in the apps. This one received the most votes last week. Are you going to vote it nice or super nice? If it's super nice, you can ring the bell.
What is it?
It's a Canyon Ultimate. What are you thinking?
I thought it was the SL8. Yeah.
They zip wheels?
No idea. Right, guys, it's quick fire, off the cuff. Nice, super nice.
It's just nice. It's rim brake.
All right, cool. George, you're too slow.
I agree. Yeah.
This week we've got BR Pickering 916 with a Cannondale System 6 from the year 2020. What are we making of this bike?
That's super nice. I have one of those.
Super nice. Yeah.
Ring the bell, go on, for
the crank position's not very good though, the image.
That's very true. I like you.
Where is his valves?
They're at the bottom.
They're at the bottom. He's done that right.
Jaunty angle.
And he's in big ring.
You can super nice if you want.
Yeah, they got a super nice.
All right. Next in is SM Smith 1990 with a Specialized Roubaix Elite from the year 2015. What do we make of this bike? A little bit older. Big boy saddlebag. That has a chunky boy.
You got some sandwiches in there.
Yeah. I like the bike though. It's like well presented.
He's got his cranks right, his valves right.
Good gear.
Oh, he's done a good job there.
If between the three of us we can overlook the saddlebag, are we going to super nice it?
Not for me.
No? Justin?
Yeah, it's rim brake again.
Okay, I'm in charge. Super nice.
In all fairness, I do prefer the saddlebag as opposed to having a big bar bag.
All right. Gvan.cruel32 with a Tifosi Ariga?
Yep.
Or whatever it is. Yeah. What is going on with the saddle angle?
Oh. That's a saddle bar drop, isn't it?
Valves, cranks. That's a drop, isn't it? Yeah. He must have like dislocated hips.
It's a no from me. It's just a nice. Just a nice?
Oddballs.
Yeah, it's nice. Yeah.
All right. Last bike vault this week is from Strawhorn 1. It is a tandem for Connor and his son Hank.
That's super nice already.
Maybe they. What is that?
That's incredible.
That is actually incredible.
I'm going.
Super nice.
I want to see them on it.
Yeah, I would want to see him on it. All right, that is it for the Bike Vault. if there's any way possible, I can get a picture of both of your bikes up on screen. If you can send me one afterwards, we'll do it with the power of editing. We'll let people vote on them in the comments section down below.
Yeah.
Right.
George's grey bike.
Right.
Metallic Magnolia, actually.
Oh, that's the colour.
All right.
Yeah,
guys, it's been incredible having you along. Thanks for sensibly discussing if the bike industry is in crisis at the start and then getting into the spirit of it and having a good laugh. I've enjoyed it. Have you both enjoyed it?
It's been great.
Very much so. Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us.
Well, we might have you back at some other point. See you later.